The 2010 Hunger Report, A Just and Sustainable Recovery, is about both the present and the future. It's about where we are and how we ended up here in a, the worst recession since the 1930s, and where we're going as a country. We have two crises that we have to deal with. We have both the economic meltdown from the housing bubble, and we have climate change. When the housing bubble burst, starting in late 2006, it was the beginning of an epic evaporation of wealth. $13 trillion of wealth just vanished, basically, in the space of a year or so. Right? So now, what is going to fuel the economy in the years ahead? Well, consumption accounts for 70% of the economy. So if people don't have that money anymore, and they're not getting it from their jobs, where's it going to come from? I mean, the problem has been wages haven't been going up. But one of the assets that really matter to someone's economic and social mobility is health care. Right? If you're healthy, right, you have a far greater chance of being able to capitalize on that to rise from low income, growing up in a low income household. 60% of bankruptcies, personal bankruptcies, are related to healthcare expenses. I think the thing that would surprise most people is that of those, about 80% had health insurance at the start of their illness. We believe that if you're healthy, really anything is possible for you. But the other side of that is that what's happening is if you're not healthy, it's almost a ticket to downward mobility, and that's a very, I think, disturbing trend, and I think one that most Americans would not accept. But that is what we've got now. Okay, half of the jobs lost since the start of the recession have been in manufacturing and construction. Those are two sectors of our economy that really stand to benefit the most by investments in clean energy. The subprime story is crucial to the collapse of the housing bubble because it wasn't just that families got into mortgages. The financial industry used these mortgages. They packaged them up to create what they call mortgage-backed securities and to sell them as financial products, financial instruments they call. And this is what brought down the economy. It wasn't that just a bunch of low-income people bought houses that they couldn't pay the mortgage. There are ways in which we use policy to help families, but there are also a lot of ways in which policies harm poor families. They harm them in very serious ways. We've done a very poor job of investing in low-income communities in ways that would increase the people who live there, their human capital. I mean, for instance, the schools in poor communities are, there's a very alarming dropout crisis in low-income communities that I think lots of people aren't even aware of. For instance, in Detroit, 25% of kids graduate high school. Just 25%. I mean, it's not 25% who decide to drop out. That's 25% who graduate. I mean, you think about what those kids, what kind of opportunities they won't have without a high school degree. In this economy, in a global economy like we live in today, if you don't have a high school degree, you're basically fated to only jobs at poverty wages. Natural reaction to families that are in poverty is to give them, give that household benefits, give them food stamps, right, so that they can go out and get more food at the grocery store, or let's up the earned income tax credit, which is a wage subsidy basically, which helps families working in low-wage jobs, right? But what happens when there are no grocery stores in the community, right? We can give them food stamps or SNAP benefits, but if there are no places to shop to get good food, then are we really addressing the problem? If there are no jobs in the community, what good is more EITC benefits?